Stop for a moment and look around. What do you see? Are you surrounded by natural beauty and sunlight? Or are you stuck inside, staring at a dimly lit desk, closed off like a caged animal? What really is our purpose in this life? And what is our story? Do you ever aspire for something greater and feel deeply in a higher purpose than simply working and paying bills? Are you constantly finding yourself bored, waiting for this collective hibernation to finally see the light of spring? How do we become so lost and disconnected to the world and universe around us? Perhaps it's time to rediscover it and find our way back. The Gnostics called our conscious slumber to reality the Great Veil, and spoke of how history and conditioning has closed off our mindsets and severed off our ancient connection back to Earth and the stars. But what really have we lost? By rediscovering our lost relationship with this planet, it provides the very means to help break through this veil of our conscious chains. Whether that means conquering a snowy peak and pushing yourself to the very limit of what you thought was possible, or finding complete bliss in the tranquility of a lush forest or somber waterfall, we each travel our own unique path to expand consciousness. No matter which route you decide to take, they will all eventually lead back to the same source. You first must reconnect with your true self and develop an awareness and appreciation of the world around you to find the breadcrumbs that help lead out of the darkness. The journey of expanding consciousness is like being lost in a dark forest in which you cannot see the exit. Countless easy pathways constantly bombard us, only to lead us astray. Only the most determined and pure of heart will find their way and discover that the difficult road provides all the answers. For this existence is merely a teaching construct to allow for the eventual graduation of the enlightened soul to rise like a phoenix out of the ashes of its former self. Wake up to see this beautiful and spectacular world all around us, from its lush green forests and meadows to its towering mountain peaks and tranquil blue waters. We must spend time outside again, simply laying in the grass under a starry night sky, and allow the sheer humbleness of the moment sink in. That is the real you, waiting patiently for a time when its higher voice can be heard and made conscious. Humanity has been made to believe that our individual contributions and consequences aren't real, and that every action is random and meaningless. This delusion to our existence is simply based on nothing and does not represent the cosmic reality all around us, where our timeline is being shaped by our collective stories which echo through history. Yet this false perception has poisoned our mind and closed us off from any experience that doesn't bring instant pleasure or fit into the model of what is normal. What kind of life would each person decide to live if they only knew the truth of who they really were? Would we all really settle for these mundane and shallow activities that fill up this life? Or would we aspire for something greater? As the clock for our own mortality ticks away, we must ask ourselves if this is the life we really wanted to live. Consciousness is the greatest gift we could ever imagine. How will you use that gift? What will your story be in the end? What does it mean to be aware? The very word itself can act as a powerful conduit in opening up the doors of our perceptions to reality. Develop an awareness of everything around us to break free the chains which bind our consciousness, from the perspective of Earth to its place among the planets of our solar system, and allow the wonder of our cosmic neighborhood to once again be remembered. The solar system formed approximately 4.6 billion years ago from the collapse of a giant interstellar cloud, which created a large central sun with planets following an elliptic orbit. There are a total of 8 known planets in our solar system, some with a mass more than 10 times that of Earth. They are comprised of the 4 terrestrial planets closest to the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, which are mostly composed of rock and metals. Past Mars exist the four large gas giants, known as Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. There are strong indications that a ninth planet exists in our solar system known as Planet X, based on gravitational disruptions seen to both Uranus and Neptune, and is spoken about in ancient cuneiform writings from Mesopotamia. This forgotten planet may have been responsible for both cataclysms and the seeding of life to Earth in the distant past. As vast as our solar system may seem to us, it is only one of the billions of others found in our Milky Way galaxy alone. The Milky Way galaxy is one of the trillions of other galaxies in the known universe, which would outnumber every grain of sand on all the beaches of Earth. Among those galaxies exist millions of other planets and moons harboring life. Allow that staggering number in sheer size and scale to sink in. Reality will start to blur, and soon you become an observer in this galactic adventure we are all part of, aware of yourself and your place among the stars. Look all around the world at the state of our society and climate. Superstorms like Harvey and Irma crashed into Texas and Florida, smashing rainfall and wind records, and a large 8.1 earthquake in Mexico caused devastating damage. For more than 10 years, our planet's climate has been changing at an alarming rate when compared to geologic records, with increased superstorms, earthquake, and volcanoes worldwide. At the same time, the media focuses our attention away from all of this, towards celebrities, icons, and war to divert from the truth. So what really is the truth? As tides around the globe begin receding at a shocking rate, as seen in Florida, Brazil, and Egypt, and large earthquakes and volcanoes increase, we all deserve to know what's really happening, and if an outside force is actually to blame for all of this. We must not shy away from this information any longer, for a time of great change is upon us that has been written about for thousands of years. To understand what's happening, we must first go back to the earliest developed human civilization on Earth, known as the Sumerians, in what's today known as Iraq. The Sumerians represent the first civilization to develop advanced writing techniques, as well as tracking events and chronicling our ancient history. The Sumerians claimed that their knowledge of the stars, writing, agriculture, and social structures were all lowered from heaven by great gods who came from a planet with a long elliptical orbit known as Planet X, or Nibiru, meaning the crossing. The name Nibiru is derived from the unusual elliptical orbit that the planet follows, which takes it through our central solar system every 3,600 years. The Sumerians left behind records indicating the existence of this planet in cuneiform writings and cylinder seals. The most famous of these is known as VA-243, which shows a scale model of our solar system which includes our central sun and the planets that revolve around it, including Planet X, where they claim their gods came from. Today, most of society has been tricked into believing these gods in Planet X are nothing more than a myth and fairy tale to hide the truth with laughter and ridicule. This clever tactic has hidden the real version of history and our origins for generations, until over time it has been nearly lost forever. It's time for humanity to awaken from its amnesia of all of this happened before us. The Sumerians called their gods the Anunnaki, which meant those who from heaven to earth came. The Sumerians wrote in detail about both who the Anunnaki were and the events that led to their arrival on Earth hundreds of thousands of years ago from Planet X. In these early cuneiform writings, such as the Atrahasis, we learn about two brothers known as Enki and Enlil, who bitterly fight over the direction of humanity, and provides details of the disasters caused by the crossing of Planet X. Much of the turmoil revolves around these two rival families and how this mysterious planet has shaped our story. Enki was a brilliant scientist and was known as the great magician and geneticist of the Anunnaki family. His symbol was represented as a dragon and serpent, and was shown through the modern medical caduceus symbol. The name En means Lord, with Ki being the original name of our planet before it was called Earth, which was later renamed for this great being Ea, a previous name of Enki. Enki's half-brother Enlil, known as the Lord of the Air or Sky, and represented by the eagle and bull, was a polar opposite of his brother. His values revolved around a military and highly disciplined mentality, whose interests solely lie in the preservation and future of the Empire of Anu. All of the Anunnaki are named after this king of the gods, who believes that he rules over Earth. The oldest and most important of these Sumerian writings is known as the Enuma Elish, which is a cuneiform tablet that speaks about our origin story and the devastation in our solar system long ago in the past. Found in 1849 in what is now the area of Mosul, Iraq, the Enuma Elish may be one of the most important pieces of writing in human history, for the unaltered and extensive information given for the events of the ancient past. The Enuma Elish contains 7 tablets, with the first 5 describing the turbulent celestial events that happened long ago when these Anunnaki royal gods acted out roles as the planets of our solar system, like a grand play, with Marduk being represented as the planet as Jupiter. Reading from an excerpt from Tablet 6 of the Enuma Elish, it states, "They bound him, holding him before Enki. They inflicted the penalty on him and severed his blood vessels. From his blood he, Enki, created mankind, on whom he imposed the service of the gods and set the gods free. After the wise Enki had created mankind and had imposed the service of the gods upon them, the task is beyond comprehension. The gods were then divided, all of the Anunnaki into upper and lower groups. He assigned 300 in the heavens to guard the decrees of Anu, and appointed them